Hi, this is Diana from DivineFractal.com. I've been hearing about radioactive particles in Southern California. I found this today at Zero Hedge. SoCal fire may have ejected incredibly dangerous radioactive particles into the atmosphere. So basically, as I think everyone knows, California's been on fire, the north part and now the south part as well. So the 95,000 acre Woolsey fire, which has coated Southern California with an apocalyptic orange glow, may have released a toxic slew of radioactive particles and toxic chemicals into the air after scorching the land on closed-down government weapons testing facility in Simi Hills, known to be heavily contaminated from decades of experiments. So basically, starting in this operation in 1947 for Rockwell's Rocketdyne Division, which was a government contractor for the Atomic Energy Commission, in Santa Susana Field Laboratory, they have a very checkered safety record, to put it lightly. They've had several nuclear accidents there, including, get this, the worst nuclear meltdown in U.S. history. Toxic materials have been accumulating on this site just miles from thousands of residents. So you can see a map here. This is showing the Santa Susana Field Laboratory by Thousand Oaks in Simi Valley. And this map here is showing the burned area as of Friday. So there's an inset here. It was the site of several nuclear accidents, including the worst nuclear meltdown in U.S. history, when in 1959, facility operators intentionally vented nuclear material from the site's sodium reactor experiment to prevent it from overheating and exploding. By the time the leaks were closed, the site had released 459 times more radiation than was leaked in the 1979 meltdown at 3 Mile Island, which is incredible. I actually didn't even know about this accident from 1959. The lab property, now owned by airplane manufacturer Boeing, stretches for 2,800 acres in Simi Hills and remains contaminated with toxic materials. There's actually thousands of people that live within 2 miles of the site and roughly 500,000 that live within 10 miles. California officials with the state's Department of Toxic Substances Control said that as of Friday, November 9th, the area that was scorched by the Woolsey fire posed no danger, stating, quote, "Our scientists and toxicologists have reviewed information about the fire's location and do not believe the fire has caused any releases of hazardous materials that would pose a risk to people exposed to the smoke," unquote. There's a group of concerned physicians that beg to differ. I'm not a physician, but I also would beg to differ. This seems like a dangerous thing to me. According to Robert Dodge, a physician and president of the Physicians for Social Responsibility Los Angeles, highly toxic materials embedded in SSFL soil and vegetation may have been spewed into the air by the Woolsey fire. He says, quote, "We know what substances are on site and how hazardous they are. We're talking about incredibly dangerous radionucleotides and toxic chemicals such as trichloroethylene, perchlorate, dioxins, and heavy metals," unquote, said Dodge, adding, "These toxic materials are in SSFL's soil and vegetation. When it burns and becomes airborne in smoke and ash, there's a real possibility of heightened exposure for area residents." All right, so here we have a satellite image. It says it's got some false color, but it still is showing you some of the burn scars there in the lower left. And here we have another map that's highlighting out these burned areas. Dodge's group has also criticized the California Department of Toxic Substances Control, pointing out that the state-run agency is currently under a state-mandated independent review to investigate its handling of toxic cleanups. According to a draft environmental statement from the Energy Department, Santa Susana Field Laboratory and its adjoining northern buffer zone has never been fully cleaned up. In 1998, an article of Los Angeles Magazine detailed horrific cancers and other conditions which have afflicted those living near and working at the site. There's a quote here: "Children growing up near the site swam and fished in streams and played in the dry wash. And one day, Garner rode his red J.C. Higgins bike he got for Christmas through effluent flowing from the lab." Garner, now 44, lives in Simi Valley. An iron worker, he's done contract jobs at the lab over the years. In October 1996, he was diagnosed with lymphoma. His wife, Leslie, had her uterus removed because of cervical cancers. His father, like Garner, an iron worker employed occasionally at the lab, has skin cancer and heart problems and is near death. His sister, Vicky, has heart and thyroid problems. On one side of a single block of Ramatha Avenue in Woodland Hills, 5 miles from the plant, cancer has been diagnosed in 9 out of 10 houses. Meanwhile, here's the potentially toxic plume of smoke that was traveling as of November 9th. And you can see that is quite a horrifically large plume of smoke. There's a video here. You can go to the link below if you'd like to go back to that and check it out. So what do you guys think about this? Do you think there might be dangerous radioactive particles being ejected into the atmosphere from this fire? Love to hear what you guys think down below. Until next time, be fearless, fill your heart with love, and create art. Love you guys.